Hello and welcome to another episode of This is Australia. And guess what? Back in the kitchen. But this time we have a subject that is very, very serious. We're going to talk about olive oils. Now, there is a lot of controversy around the extra virgin olive oil. And we're going to tell you some truths. Some of you may not like it, but you have to be very careful what you are buying, what you are feeding your children, and what you consume yourself. So it's very important to have a look what we're going to mention about the good olive oils and where you can find them. Okay, now I grew up in a farm, and back in those days we used to make the best out of everything. We didn't have any pesticides and everything was raw. Everything was 100% fresh and it was natural. We had our own beehives, so we could make raw honey. And we had our own olive trees, and we could make the olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil, the old way. And that's the best way. So I still have the smells and the tastes since I was growing up. So I know exactly what a good olive oil should taste like, or a honey, or what it should smell like, and maybe what it looks like. So here, we just have some examples of different olive oils to show you. But which one is the best olive oil you can have? Unfortunately, to be sure, it's better if you make it yourself. Now, this particular system, you can buy it yourself, you can use it at your house, and when it's harvesting time for olives, you can go and buy your olives and you can make your own olive oil. Now, that is the best way to do it. This is the juice of the olives, and that's what is extra virgin olive oil, the fresh juice of the olives. Okay, now have a look at this.
Well, it turns out the olive oil you buy in the supermarket may not be real olive oil at all. A recent string of investigative reports, 60 Minutes to Forbes magazine, claim that much of the extra virgin oil sold in supermarkets is not the real thing.
The vast majority of what's on the shelf is not real olive oil. You get what you pay for.
The reports and several recent lawsuits claim many brands are really blends of olive, sunflower, and canola oil.
Okay, so basically price is very important. When you look at some prices at the supermarkets where they're selling some of the oils for $4 and $5 per liter, something's going on. Because if you want to make extra virgin olive oil, it will cost around about $30 per liter. I know, I made it. I made extra virgin olive oil. And the work that involves into making that olive oil, it's incredible. So when you see the cheap oils in the supermarket, just be very careful with that. Now, have a look at this one.
Police arrested 19 people for passing off cheap vegetable oil as olive oil. The FDA has caught companies adding corn syrup to honey.
So in America, people getting arrested for fraud about olive oil and honey. What's happening here in Australia, though? I haven't heard of anything as such. I think it's time that we should look at it. I think our officials, they need to look at what we are eating. Well, if it's not olive oil, it could be harmful for you and your children. So I think the authorities need to wake up and start looking at the proper methods of producing the best olive oil we can. We can do it. It can be done. But I think that we need to have the authorities to help produce that particular oil that we're talking about, the extra virgin olive oil, which is really good for you. Now, let's have a look and see what some experts say about the goodness of the extra virgin olive oil.
I thought that you might find it interesting that one of the oils that's sometimes refined for consumption is an oil that's called lampante. Lampante is the Italian word for lamp oil, which is deemed not fit for human consumption. And it's sold to you as extra virgin olive oil. The process of refining or deodorizing an oil involves taking rancid olive oil and boiling it with chemicals so that the putrid smells and the off flavors are burnt off. Even the fact that the packaging says that it's olive oil can't always be trusted. Some olive oils have been found to be tainted with canola oil and other filler oils. Olive oil is incredibly healthy for you, but in its fresh and authentic state. Don't fall for the marketing hype or the big brand fraud. Once you've tasted the real deal, it's hard to fall for subpar oil.
Okay, so we need to know how we can choose and how we can find the extra virgin olive oil. I thought we'd just look at what else but a National Geographic video, so we can find out how we can really make the extra virgin olive oil and what we should know about it. But it's not all good news. I'm sorry, National Geographic, but there's a lot of mistakes in this particular documentary. So let's have a look.
The process begins at harvest. The traditional method involves collecting olives using tiny rakes.
Okay, stop it there and let's have a look at the color of these olives. Now the color is green. Now that means the fruit is not ripe. They say that the best olive oil you make is out of the green olives, and that's why the oils are green. Like I said, I grew up in a farm and we never used green olives to make our olive oil. We used to wait for them to go ripe and go red or black. Black is ripe. That's when you get the best out of the olive, because it has all the ingredients that you want to make your olive oil. Now, let me tell you something. Would you eat a green mandarin instead of a yellow one, a ripe one? What about a banana? Would you have a green banana instead of a ripe one? And the other thing, of course, is the other fruits. Like, look at the tomatoes. Would you eat a green tomato? Would you use a green tomato in your salad? You never do that. I mean, the peppers. This is a ripe. This is not ripe. I don't know about this one. I think this one here, it's taste of lemon or orange. I don't know, something, maybe mandarin. I don't know, but something's going on. I grew up with red or green pepper. Now look at this. See how the green pepper just becomes red slowly. That's when it gets ripened. And the best way to eat the pepper is when it's red, when it's ripe. Okay, now, same with apples and pears and everything. You never eat anything green. Would you make a juice out of this to give to your children? Of course not. So why would you make a juice out of green olives? Okay, now, you see now some of the pictures when people use the green olives and they make olive oil and the color of the oil is green. Look at that. That's the olive oil made out of the green olives. And that one is from olives that they ripe, that they black or red in color, like this particular olives. Have a look at that. Now, you see the golden color? That is supposed to be the color of the good olive oil from the ripe olive. That's my opinion. Now, do whatever you like with that, but I think that's one thing you have to look at. Making olive oil out of ripe olive. It could have a few greens in there, maybe a few reds, but most of them, they have to be black. Let's have a look at the next bit from National Geographic.
For a big crop like the one on this farm, an automated harvester is used instead. The machine surrounds each tree and literally shakes the olives off the branches.
All right, now, again, when you pick your olives, this is when you can make the big mistake. By just doing that, you're getting all the green olives as well, not just the good ones. Using either the machines by hand or these huge machines that you can see now on your screen. It's not the right way to do it, because what happens, you damage the tree, that's one thing, but also you pick up a lot of the green olives with it. I mean, look at how much of the tree you have taken with the olives. So again, that's not the right way. Which is the right way? This particular machine. Not by hand, but this particular machine. Have a look at that one. You just shake the tree a little bit and only the ripe olives will fall into that net. It's a fast way, efficient, and you can probably visit the tree maybe 3 or 4 times to pick up all the olives as they get ripe. That's the best oil you can make out of that. That's how you do it. The next thing to remember is how you store the olives to go to the olive press. Never put them in plastic bags or even Hessian bags. The best way to store your olives is this way, with the plastic boxes. And take the olives straight to the olive press once they've been picked. Now, this is the next bit from the National Geographic documentary. Look at that.
When the harvest reaches the production plant, the fruit is washed to remove any dirt, leaves or twigs that were caught up in the collection process.
Okay, what do you think about this? You didn't notice anything. Okay, this is actually what they call washing of the olives. Did you notice the standard of the cleanliness of the water? It's not just with this National Geographic. It happens to many of these olive presses. Now, you tell me you want to create the best extra virgin olive oil and your water when you wash the olives is like that. No way. I wouldn't put my olive oil in that water. No way in the world. When I do my olive oil, it's clean water, pure clean water. Nothing like that. And then look at the rest of it.
To get the best quality oil, the fruit should be pressed as soon as possible. Traditional methods mean there's a delay between harvesting and the grinding process.
National Geographic, look at this. This is how they take the olives with a shovel from this place that is just chokers with dirt. Look at that. Could you believe that this is a documentary from National Geographic telling us how they make the olive oil? And we're supposed to eat that? I wouldn't eat that. Look at this. That's all different videos from different olive presses. Everywhere you look, it's really dirty. Now look at this one here. Now that one. Okay, don't worry. There are some olive presses, especially the modern ones, that they are clean and they're not all like that. The thing is, you don't know where these oils are coming from, do you? What if they come from that olive press from the National Geographic? Ugh, I wouldn't want to touch that. Yeah, now have a look at the next bit.
The original method also uses big millstones like these granite wheels to grind both fruit and the stones into a thick pulp. But modern production carefully controls two vital factors. First, the fruit is sent directly from the harvester to the grinders with as little delay as possible.
Okay, we're going to the stone crushing or the modern crushers. Again, Mr. National Geographic, please explain to people. The best way, it's the old way, the stone crushing, because you don't crush the seed too much that way. Yeah, you didn't know, Mr. National Geographic, that? It's very important that we try to just make olive oil out of the stone crushing. Yeah, not the other one, the modern technique, because it crushes too much. I don't know. You have to go back and do some homework, Mr. National Geographic. Now have a look at this.
The modern method is far less aggressive but just as effective. Instead of crushing the pulp, it's spun in a centrifuge like this one. As it's spun around, the oil passes out through a fine mesh, leaving the pulp behind. The oil can then be siphoned off and stored.
Another mistake that they make with the modern techniques of making olive oil is using these modern machines. These decanters and separators, all these create a big problem to the olive oil. There's a vitamin E that disappears once you just put them through these machines. And remember that the heat is also very important. To get most of the olive oil out, you have to heat the olive oil quite a lot in these machines. 40, 45, 50 degrees. Now, if you're around about 25 degrees, that's still fine. You can still call it extra virgin. But a lot of people don't, to get most out of it. So these machines, they destroy a lot of the vitamins when they turn around this particular equipment, the decanters and the separators. Let's have a look how we used to make the olive oil back in the old days. First of all, let's have a look at this quick history video.
It is estimated that the cultivation of the olive tree commenced more than 7,000 years ago in the Mediterranean region and spread to nearby countries from there. The olive tree features in the myth of the founding of Athens. An olive tree is said to have sprung from the barren rock at the bidding of Athena, the city-state's patron, when she fought with Poseidon. It was the gift of the goddess to the residents of the city of Athens, who subsequently gave her name to their city in gratitude for this gift.
Right, so basically we have olive oil for 8,000 years. Now, till about the Industrial Revolution in 1900s, people used to make the olive oil the traditional way for all these thousands of years. Basically, crushing the olives with the stones, using an animal to turn the stones, and then they had a handmade press that was made out of timber, and they were just basically pushing around that screw in order to just squeeze the juice out of it. And at the end, they would just scoop the olive oil from the top of the water. They still use a little bit of water, and that's how they make the juice. That's how they make the best olive oil possible. Then, in 1900s, what happened? The revolution. Everything was steel. So the screw was replaced with steel, and they didn't have the donkeys and the horses anymore, but it was a mechanical way that you can turn the stones. Still, the olive oil was the best. That is the best way to make the real olive oil. Look at it. It's a very old olive press, still works very well, and it doesn't use any automatic equipment to get the olive oil out. The next best thing is a hydraulic press. And then we had all the modern techniques, and as I said, we lost a lot of the vitamins and the good ingredients out of the olive oil with these new methods. So how can we just produce the best juice out of the olives? First of all, the olives to be mostly black, a little bit pinkish red, and some green. That's fine. The way we pick them up is with this equipment. Perfect. No damage to the tree. We pick up only the good ones. Then we store them in these boxes. Then we wash them with clean water. Once you wash the olives once or twice, you have to change the water. And that's what the problem is. They just stingy to put new water into the system. Clean water to wash your olives. Then the stone wheels to crush them. And then this equipment is the best to spread the crushed olive on these mats made out of hemp. And then we use a hydraulic press to just extract the juice out of it. We just let it settle for a little while, and then we scoop the good olive oil out from the top of the water. Very simple. But they don't do it this way because they won't get all the olive oil out of the olives. So what I suggest is make first this juice, which is going to be your best juice. That's going to be good for your salads, good for cooking. They say that you don't want to use a good oil for cooking. You want to taste the olive oil in your salads. Don't you want to taste it in your cooking as well? I do. That's a big mistake. Don't listen to the cooks. Use your good olive oil also for cooking. That's a misconception. You wouldn't believe the difference in the taste after you use the extra virgin olive oil, even at your cooking. So once you pick up the best of the olive juice, then the rest of it, put through these machines and then make another second quality, which you could probably call still virgin olive oil, but not extra. Or just call it olive oil. Let's have a look and see what Dr. Axe has to say.
The majority of olive oil today is laced with other oils like soybean oil, canola oil, so it's actually not good for you. It's actually toxic.
Okay, Dr. Axe. And what are the benefits of the extra virgin olive oil? Remember, extra virgin olive oil.
It is packed with polyphenols. And polyphenols are a type of antioxidant that really helps support both the brain as well as the heart. And so if you're looking to lower cholesterol, if you're looking to lower blood pressure, if you're looking to support your brain and focus and even prevent long-term diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson, we know that olive oil is a great superfood because of those polyphenol, those fat-soluble antioxidants.
Now, have a look at this about Australian olive oils.
Olive oil should be just this, the fresh, healthy juice squeezed directly from the olive. Did you know many European oils are chemically refined and 90% of imported brands have failed the Australian standard? Australian farmers don't use chemical processing, and so their oils are naturally rich in goodness, and they're winning awards the world over. So, buy Australian olive oil. It's fresher, tastier, and better for you.
Yeah, it's very important. We should try to use as much as we can Australian olive oils. We do have plenty of olive trees in Australia, so we should just look for our own olive oils to be used. Still, I think we need to talk to some of the growers, some of the producers, and have a look and see which one actually is the real thing, the real McCoy, the real extra virgin olive oil. Some of the oils you pick up, not so much from the supermarkets, but you pick up from different importers. They come from different parts of Italy, perhaps Greece or Spain. They're probably much better because they come directly from the producer and the olive press. So be careful. Some of the oils you find in the supermarket, and they come at a price of $3 and $4 and $5 for a liter. I think that there's questions to be asked there. Now look at the different oils here that I have. These are all different oils from the supermarket. One test that you can actually have a look to see if it is real extra virgin olive oil is to put it in the fridge. Guess what? The one that I put in the fridge, it's pretty good because it has this cloudy look, while the other ones, you put them in the fridge and they just remain the same. There's no difference. So something's happening there. The other way to check if the olive oil is natural and it's pure and it's extra virgin is to just use it as lavande oil, candle oil. And that's another way you can tell. If it doesn't light or if it has black smoke, it means that it has other things in there that you wouldn't want to use it even for cooking. Okay, that's all we had for this program. Thank you very much for watching. But before we go, when you find that extra virgin olive oil, I think that we should forget that name because it's a lot of fraud around it. Now, here, just use a little bit of balsamic vinegar, look at that, and a little bit of olive oil, and guess what? This is the best you can have. You know what? A lot of the times, I'm just happy, like in the old days at the farm, just to live or eat my bread with some olive oil, maybe some tomato, a bit of cheese, and they're preserved olives as well. They're also very good for you. Remember, the green ones are from unripe olives, and the black ones from olives that they are ripe. That is the difference. All the olives are the same. Every single variety is the same. Green is not ripe, black is ripe. Now, let's have a look at this. Yeah. You can taste, you can smell the goodness out of this olive oil. It's not 100% though. It's not 100%. It's not like they're all olive oil I used to make at the farm. But it's the closest thing that I have come across till now. See you next week.